Good evening, County. Hey, I did not intend to come live from Mama's kitchen table again, but that's what's happening. My trip home got delayed for a day. I've been busy all day today dealing with stuff up here with my sister and stuff. But I think I've about got all this settled up, and I wasn't planning on coming on here till about 8:30 today anyway because of not I didn't get here in time. But when I saw Alex was coming on my drive actually back to the house from the hospital, I was watching and I figured something had happened to fire him up, and I see what it is, and I find it interesting. Alex was talking about the 87%, and say hi and stuff here in a minute. The 82%, but Bill Campbell and I have talked about this a couple of different times. The fact that the 82% that happens. That's interesting. That happens that way. But we discussed that we felt that the numbers were being manipulated. Bill Campbell had always said, Larry, they're not counting the splost and the host, and he said the numbers aren't right. So he was right, and Alex brought that up tonight, and I was glad that we did. But first of all, yeah, Alex, you know what? Alex just mentioned something, and I was actually going to say that tonight too. When Alex was talking about the BOE's budget, they get a large portion of their funding from the state. So when they've got this $182 million budget, we've got to remember a large portion of that budget comes from the state, and that calculation that the state uses to compensate counties for funding education. And if you remember, the state reduced some of Rockdale County's funding this year because they've lost students, and that ratio depends on the number of students in your school system is what the state reimburses you at. So that's what it is, and Rockdale County has been losing students, so they didn't get as much money. So they passed that charge on to you, the taxpayers, again. When if they're losing students, shouldn't it be less money in the school system and not more? That's an interesting thing. But let me say hi to some people and everything here before I forget and everything. So I'd like to say hello to Corliss Turner has joined me from Voices from Rockdale. We've got Alex McDonald with the TPS report. Jeff Meeks, my friend from DeKalb County. Nice to see you, Jeff. Megan Walker, nice to see you, Megan. Bill LeCount, Kathy Robinson. We got Mary Boysworth. Kathy Word is on here this evening. Bill Campbell. So nice to have all you people on here tonight. And like I said, hey, let's do something. Let's share and like the show so that we make sure that people see this and they know what's going on. It's interesting that Alex come on, right before and talked about, the misinformation. And I had done a little show Sunday night, you guys recall, and I went over the misinformation and how it's actually the chairman and the board of commission that actually puts this information out, which is misinformation. Then they try to accuse other people of what they've done. This is just, it's just a blatant attempt of trying to make others look bad and themselves look okay, when this board of commission is it's just a terrible group of individuals. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like I told you guys, 901 Main Street, you should take that commission sign off, put that clown college thing up. Clown University, the finest clowns that ever come out of clown college come out of 901 Main Street up there in Conyers. Now, if I happen to get elected to chairman in a couple of years now, don't y'all be calling me a clown, okay? Because I'm going to try to get the reputation back for the BOC and the county. But I was going to talk about a couple of some things that I noticed from yesterday's meeting, and I'm glad Alex. I was going to mention that 82% thing, that's a misinformation thing, and it's not accurate. But also, did you guys notice, if you didn't watch, go back and watch it, Commissioner Sherry Washington trying to set herself apart from the chairman, trying to make that she's got ideas and that, she's setting herself apart on the issues or attempting to. If you all may recall, back in 2015 and 2016, there was another post one commissioner who did that exact same thing. That post one commissioner was setting himself apart and showing differences between himself and the current chairman. He was showing people that he was a leader, that that he didn't agree with the company line, that he could take a stand on his own about what was going down in the county, and he didn't agree with what was some of the things that the chairman was doing. We see now Sherry Washington doing that same thing. Now, why would Sherry Washington be doing that same thing? In my opinion, and this is totally speculative in my opinion, I believe that Sherry Washington is beginning to set herself up, showing herself as a separate entity, a standalone commissioner. She intends to challenge Chairman Nesbitt for his position, because it's what Oz Nesbitt did when he held that post one chair and sat in that very seat that Sherry Washington sits in now. It's exactly what he did when he was beginning to set himself up to run for that chairman's office. And that's what Sherry's doing right now. She's setting herself up to distinguish herself, set herself apart from the rest of the board, the other two members, specifically the chairman. And she's setting herself up to do that. And she's doing that several different issues. She did the thing the other a few weeks ago with the millage rate, saying about the $6.6 million and the fact that the county shouldn't be pre-collecting money on a debt that we don't owe. Well, apparently it's even deeper than that, and we'll talk about this a little bit later this evening too, about that 6.6, because it's still something that just gets under my skin about that $6.6 million. But so it's very interesting. We see that, and we see they have their debate over what should be zoned this and that in the county, agriculture, residential, light commercial. And they were talking about, we need a strategic plan, what we're doing forward. They've talked that strategic plan nonsense to death. Then they started this nonsense yesterday about Rockdale County is Metro Atlanta, whether you want to be or not. It's going to grow whether you want it to or not. Well, let me ask you guys in the chat. Can you multiply land mass? Can you, I know if we all see Star Trek, they've got a thing, and they were able to do that and create a planet with, some stuff, but that doesn't exist. It's not reality. So we can't grow Rockdale County's land mass. We are very limited. We have our sewer and our water is very limited to right around the city of Conyers, 5 miles from I-20, one way or the other. So the water is a little more out, but there's still parts of the county that, you have predominantly well water. But the sewer is very limited to where it's at. The kind of growth they're talking about is dependent on that type of infrastructure growth, which we do not have in this county and will not have in this county, because they can't put together enough money to do anything. Because this county has point blank said that without SPLOST, they can't do anything. They said without SPLOST, you won't have a fire department or police department, which is total BS. That if the SPLOST would have failed, it would have been the best thing that ever happened to this county. It would have made these clowns get their financial house in order. But again, they scared people, and people did what they did. But Rockdale County may be considered part of Atlanta Metro, but Rockdale County will never grow like they say it's going to grow. That is false information. That's misinformation again. It's misleading information, and that's where I think that what we're looking at is not only do they do misinformation, but I think it's a lot of misleading information. Uh, yes, Rockdale County is technically considered part of Metro Atlanta, but we do not have the infrastructure in place to do a lot of things. And then people are always this nonsense about MARTA coming to Rockdale. I don't really actually see that happening because Rockdale has to be able to pay for that. Rockdale is never going to be able to pay for MARTA coming to Atlanta or sustained MARTA coming to Rockdale from Atlanta. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, guys. So I think what we've got to realize is that there are things that are within reason and within reason. There's misinformation and misleading information. And sometimes it's a combination of what this Board of Commission does. Corliss Turner from Voices for Rockdale put a comment up here, and I firmly believe this. The county is broke. We are broke. We have no money. And not only are we broke, but we're a broken county. This Board of Commission, this Board of Education, and even the City of Conyers, through their leadership, have broken this county. And we need strong leadership with a vision, out of the box thinking, and someone that's not afraid of losing their job, not afraid of being voted out of office because they didn't go along with what the powers to be. And this is what I think, guys. I think the same people that are behind the scenes pulling the strings right now are the same people that were behind the scenes pulling the strings when the Republicans held the offices that the Democrats now hold. Our problem isn't Democrat-Republican. Our problem is old guard thinking and mentality and that power broker thing that we have going on in Rockdale County behind the scenes. That's what I really see going on in Rockdale County. And I think we need someone that's not afraid, that would think out of the box and do things and not be beholding to those individuals that have the purse strings. That's what I think. Bill account, does the state ever Bill, I that's a question I don't know. I do not know at all. Do not know. And but I will find that out. Bill Campbell, okay? This is an interesting thing. What I said about the old money and the old guard, that's why the courthouse is going to be in Old Town. That's 100% correct. And it's because there are people that are established in Rockdale County, who own property in Rockdale County, who are going to benefit from a courthouse being put in Old Town, because the county is going to have to purchase properties in Old Town. Where if we would make the right decision, put the courthouse at Parker Road, where it would cost far less money, a more logical and practical place to put it, it makes sense. It only doesn't make sense if there are people that don't gain from it. And that's what the problem is with a courthouse going anywhere but that if that courthouse would go anywhere else, that's what the deal is, because somebody's not going to gain from it. And with these three commissioners being so dead set against a courthouse going somewhere where it should go, where it would cost you and I millions and millions of dollars less, it truly indicates that they have something to gain. And then, since we've went here, let's go ahead and Lisa, right over next to the parking lot area, the bank building and all that right there next to the courthouse. They're just going to, just jam it right in there. There's not really enough room, but they're just going to force it. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to make something fit. That's what they're going to do. But this is the thing about it, guys, is when Doreen Williams, I mean, just the thing about that last tax increase hearing, and when Doreen Williams says, well, we've got to do this, we've got to put that $6.6 million in because we've got to put this money back to show that we're viable enough to get this bond. We've got to put this money back to show the bonding companies that we're good, that we're solvent enough to get these bonds. It means that we're not solvent enough now to get these bonds. So this county is not financially healthy enough to be issuing $100 million worth of bonds to build something. And remember, guys, and everybody was up in arms about this tax increase. When they build that courthouse and when they issue those bonds, you are going to get hit with tax increases. I mean, just point blank, guys. This PFA was a bad mistake for Rockdale County. It was a terrible mistake. And what do we do? What do? We give them the PFA. We give them the SPLOST, and then we end up paying the bill. It's you have to have. Now it's going to be, we got to tax you, we got to tax you, we got to tax you. And that's the fact. Rockdale County, like I said, guys, share this stuff, like it, because I'm telling you right now, in 2024, we will be in the battle for our life in Rockdale County. If we don't win this, and I'm just telling you, if we elect Oz Nesbitt, Sherry Washington, this group of people again, you might as well just sell your house and leave. You might as well leave the county because we will be doomed. I'll tell you right now, it's a line in the sand for this 2024. I have decided that it's a line in the sand time for me. I am going to put the line in the sand. I'm putting myself up on the line, and I am going to run for chairman as an independent. Because it's time that somebody has the courage to stand toe-to-toe with Oz Nesbitt. I'm not afraid of Oz Nesbitt. He'll stand up there and say, you've got these naysayers, and you've got these people who fight against everything that we do. 100% citizens of Rockdale County, I have fought almost everything that this Board of Commission has done under the leadership of Oz Nesbitt because not one damn bit of it makes sense. Not one bit of it makes sense whatsoever. And that's what I know. Not one bit of it makes sense whatsoever. I'm going to address your comment there, Corliss, about the task force. I'm going to be frank with you. That task force is that task force has no authority. It's got no power. They were given one task: find just pick us an architectural firm. That's what they're doing. Because the courthouse is going in Old Town. I don't think we've got enough time to stop that. In 24, if I'm elected chairman, I will minimize the damage as much as I can do. But the damage is done. By approving the SPLOST and by our legislature giving them the PFA, we are doomed. This task force has no authority. I've spoken to members of the task force who point blank have told me we were given one directive, that's it. And the work of the task force is basically done. They're just having some meetings now, some follow-up stuff. That's what I was told. So even though I am going to ask for Judge Mumford to resign and a couple others, it's just a formality doing it because they've already made their decision. The courthouse is going in Old Town, and we're not going to stop it. and I'm just telling you, and this is a lesson that the citizens need to learn. We voted this thing down in 18, 70%. We asked ballot questions. People point blank said, we don't want a new courthouse. We'd rather fix the old one. These three people didn't listen, but they keep winning elections. And because they keep winning elections, that's why they don't think they have to listen to you. Now, they got a little bit scared about this tax increase thing, but I'm going to ask you a question. Did they really back down about the tax thing? No, they didn't. They still raised taxes 31%. They came down off that 45 to 31. The Board of Education still raised taxes. The City of Conyers still raised taxes. It's because these individuals still win elections. Unless we defeat some of these people at the ballot box, this is what's going to happen to us every single time. They will ignore us. They will raise our taxes. They will do what they want to us. Now, guys, am I making this sound whatever? Why do they keep winning elections? Somebody just asked. Because you keep voting for them. Not you personally, but a majority of the citizens of Rockdale County keep voting for these individuals because of, I love going here. They vote for them because the county, the city, and the BOE do a great job of promoting misinformation. These entities are the greatest promoter of misinformation around. Government entities, they promote this misinformation that, you can't live without us, you can't do without us, you've got to pay these enormous taxes, you won't have an education, your kids are going to be left behind, you won't have roads, you won't have police protection, when all they do is misinform you and scare you. And that's why they keep winning elections, because you keep voting for them. And people say, well, we don't vote. Well, somebody's vote for him. No, they don't lose because of low turnout, Corliss. That's not true. We've had very high turnout the last couple of elections, and they keep winning. We had very high turnout this past primary. Was a very high primary turnout. That's what it is. It's actually but we actually know what voters are going to turn out. A good majority of the same people turn out all the time, and you focus and you send them things and you talk to them, but they're afraid of change. And then that's the big thing too. People are afraid of change. They'd rather stick with what's going on than try something new. We've had very high voter turnout the last two general elections. We had very high voter turnout this last primary. Guys, our problem is voter information. It's misinformation. The county government and all that is whatever. So, Corliss, I know you talk about those numbers, but when we look at historically what voting numbers are, and then when a few years ago when Georgia went to that everybody registers when they did their driver's license, it was going to skew that number. So this is what you've got to deal with. For when you look at historical facts of who turns out for elections and those numbers, those are high numbers because people just don't vote. And you've got to deal with who actually votes. And we know who votes. We know the people who historically vote and who they vote. Other people go about their lives, they don't vote, and sometimes they complain, sometimes they don't. But our problem is lack of voter knowledge. You have to inform those who do vote. Then you have to get them over their fear of change because people are afraid of change. That's what we got. People are afraid of change, and they vote the same people back in office because they're afraid of what might happen with something new. We can't be afraid of that any longer. We have to do a better job of informing people of the facts. We have to do a better job than the Board of Education, the Board of Commission, and the City of Conyers do of giving the people misinformation. That's what we have to do. We have to do a better job of it. So, and whether, we want to believe it or not, we have a certain number of people that are going to vote. And if the number is higher than that, it is higher voter turnout. Because just because people were registered to vote doesn't mean they ever intended on voting. And that was a misjustice I knew was going to happen when we did that a few years ago with that motor voter thing, that you're going to, looks like all these people are involved in the voting system, and they're not. Somebody asked a good question here, right? I'm going to put this up. And Doreen's still up. Why? Well, women, why would she take them down? I mean, they're the very ones that talk about litter and this and that. And, she doesn't care. I mean, she really doesn't care. I don't even know why she's really running for office. It makes no sense to me. I mean, just be honest. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And Corliss said, I would rather have Humpty Dumpty than these clowns. Corliss, I agree with you. This is ridiculous. But I think that there are certain things that happen that turn the tide. I actually think that this ridiculous property tax increase is something that may have turned the tide, because you can only poke the bear so many times before the bear quits rolling over and going back to sleep during hibernation. At some point, the bear is going to get very angry and stay awake and raise havoc. That's what I hope has happened to the Rockdale County voters. I hope that Rockdale County taxpayers and voters have been poked that one time too many, and that they will realize that they can make a difference, and it is their time to make a difference. Because 2024 is that time, folks. It's that time to draw that line in the sand. It's that time to say enough is enough, and we will move forward. We will not be afraid of change, and we will go where we've not gone before. That's what I'm going to be asking Rockdale County voters to do. I'm going to be asking them to trust me, to elect me as an independent, not representing either party, but representing you, the citizens of Rockdale County. Now, I'm going to get attacked hard and heavy from everywhere when this goes on. Because you know what? Those same people who want that courthouse in Old Town, they don't want somebody like me up there. I'm going to tell you what, I don't plan on quitting my job. I don't have a job that these characters can impact, because I do something that's outside of their scope and their realm of power. So I'm a dangerous individual because I don't need their money. And that's what we need. We need people in office that don't need their money and are not tempted by their money. I want to do the right thing by you. I want to do the right thing by the citizens of Rockdale County. And doing the right thing may hurt some very powerful people in Rockdale County. You know what I say? Get ready to feel the pain, feel the burn, baby, because it's ready to happen to you. Hey, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. So let's just say that it's been a great night. I enjoyed coming on. I actually enjoyed Al's show, him coming on before there and everything. And, and he put those graphs. Alex does a great job with the graphs and the numbers. And, I just run my mouth, guys. But I do come to you with the facts. And I don't make things up, and I don't exaggerate. If you run, well, I get the big SUV. Hey, no, we're going to sell that damn SUV, guys. And when I run, I will not be having a county vehicle, and these other characters aren't going to. We'll have a motor pool of vehicles that we'll be able to share and use for things that people do in the daytime for work. But they will the take home the vehicle day will be done under a Larry Cox chairman administration. That's one thing that I do think that I can muster up. So that dog won't hunt no more. Those vehicles will be parked, and we may talk about what kind of vehicles that other departments get too, because I don't think the sheriff's department needs all them damn SUVs and all that stuff either, guys. So you know what? We gonna cut the budget, do some responsible spending. Let me let you guys off of here. I'm glad to have you. I will be back in Rockdale County and Conyers tomorrow at some time, and I look forward to hopefully running into. I've been running into all kinds of people at the stores and different places, and they're all, everybody just so kind, and I appreciate that. And I will see you guys around in Rockdale this weekend, and I can't wait for Sunday's show, and you guys just stay tuned, and I look forward for your guys' support and help. Thanks, guys. Be good.